Good morning. I am finally starting to do my video series again, and it's going to be titled The Sergster Files, like it was before when I used to do it years ago. I've really been thinking about doing like a weekly video thing for a while. And I guess I just had to, get to that point where I felt some inspiration. So this will be I guess I could say this is the relaunch of the Sergster Files. Anyway, yesterday was a very, very strange Tuesday. It didn't turn out the way that I expected. Of course, as everyone knows that plays video games, the Xbox released the new Xbox Series X and Series S pre-orders, and I guess it was about maybe a week or two ago when PlayStation did theirs. Um, yeah, the difference between PlayStation and Microsoft, Sony and Microsoft, is that Sony basically tricked everybody. They didn't tell us exactly when they were going to release the pre-orders, which is good that they did that because you know there's been a big problem in the game industry for a while with these bots, scalpers, and hackers who basically, I guess they have programs where they will automatically, once the systems go on sale, these programs will swoop in and buy up all of the inventory available. And I'm sure they are probably doing it with multiple accounts. It's probably, I'm sure it's maybe some big network of people that do it together. But what happens is when the systems go on sale or when the pre-orders go live, nobody can buy one. No one, because you can't find one anywhere. And then you got to go online, you go to eBay or wherever, and then you find, or even on Amazon, and you find these prices are just marked way up. And people are desperate enough that they'll pay anything to get a Nintendo Switch or whatever, Beyonce tickets. Um, so when Sony did their pre-orders, what they did was there was a presentation that happened earlier that day, and it was supposed to be the next day that the pre-orders were going to go live, but right after the presentation, all of a sudden pre-orders went live and the internet went crazy. The internet basically broke, and it was a mad dash. A lot of people weren't able to get them because everybody was caught off guard. um, I myself wasn't really concerned about it because I pretty much decided I'm going to get an Xbox Series S, which I'll explain my madness for that later. Um, so all these like hackers, scalpers and whatever, they weren't ready. The systems weren't ready, so they couldn't really get as many systems, and people were actually able to get a fair number of systems, which is good for us, the consumers. I mean, it's a damn shame that you have people that make everything bad for everybody. I mean, it's almost like people who say that they're nerds, but they're really not nerds. They're just saying that they're nerds because it's true. I remember a time when, being a nerd, you get laughed at and stuff, but it's popular now to say that you're a nerd, which is interesting. But so anyway, you got all these people who might not even really play video games, which is the ironic thing. But they're buying up all these video game systems. So the people that really play the games and have passion for for this medium, we can't actually get systems because all these people have bought up all the PlayStations. So there are two versions of the PlayStation 5. There's a regular PlayStation 5, which is like a superpower machine, which does 4K everything. Uh, the sound is supposed to be, I guess, is some 3D sound, some new technology, and that machine is $500. Now I'm thinking to myself, who's gonna have this much money? A lot of people aren't working right now because of this whole, COVID thing situation. People are you know, don't have money because they're not working. But apparently, people do have money because people bought a lot of the machines. So that PlayStation 5, that model, the $500 model, is the high end model. Well, I should say high end model. It's the well, it plays discs, and then there's another model of the PlayStation 5 that does not play discs. So if you want to buy your games, you have to buy them digitally and download them onto the system, or you can stream them, I guess. And that machine is $400, so you're saving $100. But I like the idea of owning my games, even though eventually those games will not work when that machine dies. So there's pluses and minuses. I mean, if you buy a physical game, you can go and sell it back later when you're tired of it, when you give it to somebody else. If you have a digital game, then you're stuck with it and you can't sell it nowhere. So a lot of people bought these machines, and I thought about getting a PlayStation 5, honestly, because of the Miles Morales content. And but I saw that when I watched the presentation, I saw that they are actually going to be releasing those games on the PlayStation 4, which really took me by surprise. It's great that they're doing that, because I guess they know a lot of people are going to be like, damn, I mean, they're not going to be able to play those games, but the Miles Morales, that's the black and Puerto Rican kid who's Spider-Man. This is like an add-on. Miles Morales is in the Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4. I haven't finished it yet, but I did play through some parts with him, so I don't know if I guess maybe he gets the costume and then he becomes Spider-Man later in the game. Not really sure. I try to avoid spoilers when I can, for certain things anyway, really. But PlayStation, I guess people were thinking that the Miles Morales extra content, it seems like it could be a full game, but it's not exactly a full game. So I don't know if you have to have Spider-Man for it to work. I don't know, maybe not. I don't think it's going to be like a $60 game, though. It may be I'm thinking maybe like 39 or something like that. But this, like, when I say add-on, it's like extra stuff that will it will tie in with the overall story for the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game, which came out, I guess, a few years ago. I don't know how many years ago. I can't believe the PlayStation's been out now. PlayStation 4 has been out a few years, maybe 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. I can't believe it's been that long. Yikes! Time is flying by. So, I like the fact that Microsoft, what they're doing, they're more consumer friendly, with their service, the Game Pass Ultimate, which is kind of like Netflix for games. So you play the games that you want. You get access to like a library of games. You pay $14 a month. I think that's how much it is. $12, $14 a month, and you get access to all their games that they have in that. So far, they've got like, I guess maybe over 100 games now. And the cool thing about Game Pass Ultimate is you get access to any games that Microsoft makes exclusive, like Halo, Gears of War, Forza. You will get instant access to those games when they release. You'll be able to download those games or stream them, I guess, if you're using the cloud, I guess, or xCloud, which is this, it's like what Google is doing, and PlayStation has got PlayStation Now. You're streaming the games, so you could have like a shitty computer or whatever, and you can actually, it doesn't matter because the games are coming from somewhere else. It just really, your system is basically acting as a screen, pretty much. It's a pretty good idea if you have the internet that can handle it. I don't. But it's kind of confusing about Microsoft, because I don't know how the Xbox Gold is going to work. I guess they're combining it, because you used to be able to pay like $60 a year for your Xbox Gold, and that would give you the ability to play your games online against, with other people, and then you would get a few free games every month But now they're taking away that ability to play to pay yearly. So I don't know. I don't really like that. It's really making me lean a lot towards becoming just a PC gamer, because you don't get charged to play games online when you're a PC gamer. That's one of the cool things. I mean, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft charge you to play online. I mean, there are some exceptions. Some games you can play online. They don't charge you, I guess, to use Netflix or anything like that. But to play multiplayer games online, you have to pay. Um, so, I think Microsoft, when the Xbox One first came out, there was a lot of controversy. A lot of people were angry because they were being forced to buy the Kinect. Nobody really wanted it or asked for it. And there was some other things that Microsoft were doing, and it just pissed off a lot of people. And for months, probably for about 6 months, nobody was buying Xbox Ones. And it really, in Japan, they really don't sell at all. Microsoft they did a lot of damage control, and introducing backwards compatibility was that was a great thing. And I think that actually helped save them. And then they did like revisions of the hardware. There was the Xbox One, then they came out with the Xbox One S, which was the same thing. I think maybe it might have been a little better processor, but the main thing about the Xbox One S was that it could play the Ultra HD discs, and I guess it could stream in 4K or something. And then they came out with an even more powerful. The Xbox One was always underpowered. I think the PlayStation 4. I don't think that the systems were really quite ready for the 4K, even though they kind of marketed it. The Xbox One X came out, which was like a really powerful machine, which does 4K. It's not a lot of. I don't think a lot of the games really take advantage of the features, and they've actually stopped manufacturing the Xbox One X. And as they're moving, they want to make sure that everybody doesn't get confused. So they got now the Xbox Series X and Series S. And the Series S, which is what I wanted. I don't have a 4K TV. I want to get the S. I just have I think my TV's my flat screen 1080 or 720, whatever, HD TV. It doesn't do 4K, so I wasn't trying to get Xbox Series X. I mean, $500, and then you'd have to get another TV. You'd have to get a 4K TV. And I just, I'm not trying to do that. Not right now. I have other things that I need to worry about. No, I mean, I like nice graphics. Don't get me wrong. I like nice frame rates, and the S can do that. It's just not doing in 4K. So the Xbox Series S, which is what I wanted to get yesterday, but I couldn't because the pre-orders were gone. Because Xbox told everyone when they were releasing these systems. I mean, it was impossible. Websites were crashing left and right. I got a confirmation text from Best Buy, but no money was taken out of my account. The Xbox Series S is the lower end version of the Xbox Series X, which is a super powerful machine, more powerful than the PlayStation 5, and it's looks almost like it looks like a computer tower, honestly. This is like the high-end system. So the Xbox Series X is $500. It plays the disc, it does the digital. It will make your coffee for you and give you a massage. And the Xbox Series S is $300. It is only digital, so there's no discs. You don't play any discs in it, and it is almost the same as the Xbox Series X. So you're getting next gen light. The only thing really is that it doesn't do 4K, which to me was like, okay, I could save $200. And it's small too. It's very small. I mean, I love how small it is. It does look like a speaker. It's got this big black brown thing in the front. I mean, they're not going to win any awards for designs. I don't know why these companies, when they make these new consoles, why they don't let you, give you different colors. I mean, I don't know. I've always wondered about that. So they've been getting ready for the launch of the new systems for a while you know, releasing trailers and releasing specs for the systems. And I noticed that Xbox has already changed their UI, the interface of the when you log in, when you go and turn your Xbox on, everything is different now. It, I want to say it's a little smoother, but it seems a little, maybe a little sluggish at times. But I like the way it looks. I don't understand why the hell you sometimes when you want to buy a game. I've noticed this for a while now. It doesn't tell you how many gigs the game is sometimes when you go to the game page. And another thing about the Xbox One I noticed is that you can no longer record game clips longer than 5 minutes. I don't know why they did that. I mean, it's already kind of cumbersome sharing your game clips since, both Sony and Microsoft have just kind of phased out Facebook connectivity. I mean, it's really interesting that Nintendo has a Twitter straight to Twitter and Facebook sharing options, but PlayStation and Microsoft do not. For me, when I do my captures, my video game captures, I use like a third-party peripheral that I hook to my TV. I have not been able to get it work with the Xbox. I have not. I'm trying to think if I've tried it with the PlayStation 4. I use it mostly with my Switch, my Nintendo Switch, and my Wii U. It's just easier. And there goes my stupid alarm on my phone. It's not following me. It's 4:30. I'm at work on my break, and I'm about to go back. But I wanted to do this video while I was thinking about it before I changed my mind, just to really just kind of put my state of mind out there right now, because I'm still bummed out about yesterday that I couldn't get an Xbox Series S, because I've been saving up for a while, just putting aside money, and I thought that I'd be able to just get one. People rag on the Xbox, and I didn't really think anyone, I didn't think a lot of people would have the money. I wasn't expecting it to sell but how many of the Xbox One S's and Xbox One X's, Series X's, man, maybe it is kind of confusing. But how many were actually bought by people and not, some program, set up by people just to like get all the available. I'm hoping that, that they'll trickle out, eventually, and maybe I might have to go to some mom and pop store somewhere in the middle of, the boondocks or wherever, somewhere. I mean, the game systems don't actually go on sale until November 12th, so that still gives me plenty of time to figure out a way to get one. I mean, I'm kind of wondering, like, is it even worth it? Because, like, there's no games really coming out on the Xbox Series X or S this year. Halo got pushed back to next year. I don't know if I haven't really seen anything that really got me excited. I mean, this PlayStation has the Miles Morales and I guess Little Big Planet, I think. Ratchet and Clank for sure. But Miles Morales and I guess they're releasing that game. I know they're releasing that on the PlayStation 4, which pissed a lot of people off. They were like, saying PlayStation was not releasing any new games on the any older. Damn it! Basically, PlayStation and Microsoft, they have different strategies, whereas PlayStation is just focusing on like the now and the new technology and not doing stuff to really support the old hardware. So people were thinking that the Miles Morales game was just going to be on the PlayStation 5 and not the 4. But I'm glad that they're doing that, because I can buy Miles Morales and play it on my PlayStation 4 and not really feel left out because I don't have a PlayStation 5. I'd wish that Microsoft, they bought all these studios. I think they bought like 15 studios, and then they just bought Bethesda the other day. It's a big deal. They bought Bethesda, which is Doom and Skyrim and some other big games. So I wish that Microsoft had some killer masterpiece exclusives. They have Ori, is it Ori in the Blind Forest, or which is a cool platformer. They did have Cuphead a few years ago. They have Halo, of course, Gears of War, Forza. Meanwhile, Sony's got God of War, Spider-Man, Gran Turismo. I mean, I could just go on and on. They Uncharted, The Last of Us. They just have Little Big Planet, Dreams. Sony and Nintendo, they are amazing with the exclusive content. And I mean, I gotta give it to these Japanese companies are just amazing with the level of creativity. And even with Nintendo not having the most high-powered technology, they're still able to put out really new and innovative gaming experiences. And Microsoft, with all the money and power that they have, it's just like I was hoping that during the Xbox One lifespan that they would just I guess I don't know. I guess I was having faith in Microsoft and just hoping that they would come through, and they really kind of didn't. I mean, they have a lot of games. The backwards compatibility is great. I like the fact that I can use Bing, for example, to get like points that I can use. They're just very consumer friendly, but they had to do that. I think with the damage control, with what I mentioned before, with some of the missteps that they had with the launch of the Xbox One. But this alarm is driving me crazy. I don't know, maybe things will change with the Xbox One series, the Xbox X, because now they've got all these studios, and they can, one big blow for me and a lot of people, there was a game early on in the Xbox One lifespan, which was called Scalebound. And the game, they had trailers and everything, and the game got canceled. And this would have been a really big game. It looked great. You fought alongside a dragon. I mean, great graphics. I don't know what the hell happened. I mean, it's a big mystery because they haven't really gone into detail of behind the scenes. I don't know if they were taking too long to make the game, if they ran out of money. But I don't remember hearing anything, any reasons why it was just suddenly just abruptly canceled. And this would have been a big game. I mean, my feeling is that the Xbox One might not have been able to handle it. And there was a rumor for a while that Nintendo was going to take over, but I mean, that was a rumor. At least it seems that way because things have gone really quiet. But that to me was a big blow. I do love playing Halo. I love the Gears of War games. But I would like to see some new, innovative stuff. I mean, it's not like Microsoft has a shortage of games. I mean, there's a lot of, they get all the third-party games. Everybody gets the third-party games. Maybe Nintendo less so. Things are starting to change. Electronic Arts is finally starting to get hip to the fact that Nintendo has like the biggest selling system of this current gen. I think, and the Switches are still not exactly easy to find. I mean, a lot of that had to do with the bots, and also Animal Crossing, the game that came out like right around the time that the whole COVID mess started. It's a big game. Just kind of you're on an island and going about your everyday activities. I mean, it's not like you're fighting monsters or anything like that. So I played the game for about 5 minutes. Oh no, $60 is kind of like, no, I want to say it's wasted. I don't know. They are adding things. I mean, they're adding things. It's kind of like Sea of Thieves and Street Fighter. Keep adding content, building upon the game. So it may be Animal Crossing may be a totally different game from what it is right now by this time next year. I mean, they did eventually add the ability to actually swim in the water, which was like great. I hated being stuck on that damn island. So I'm gonna keep trying to get me an Xbox Series S. I'm not gonna give up. Um, you know, um, but wouldn't be so bad just not being a console gamer. Not really going into the next gen as a console gamer. I like the fact with PCs you can always upgrade. You don't have to buy another console every 5 or 6 years. And with what Xbox is doing with the X Cloud and the Game Pass, being able to play your games on so many platforms. Even Sony is starting to put more of their games on computers and other things. Nintendo is kind of like dipping their toes into like putting their properties on other platforms. So you're not just having to play Mario on the Nintendo systems. You can play some of those games now, Mario Kart, for example, and it's Pokemon stuff on mobile devices. But eventually, you won't have to buy a console um, if you just want to stream your games because you're limited. You got to have hardware that can play the games if you don't have internet connection. So I don't think that consoles are going to go away completely. But as the internet gets stronger, most people will have good internet. But then again, as technology improves, maybe the boxes will get smaller, and you won't have these big, gigantic VCR-looking things sitting on top of your TV. Because that PlayStation 5 is huge. I mean, it looks like a building that you would see on a postcard from Dubai or something. It's beautiful. It's definitely interesting looking. And the Xbox, yeah, I would like to see different colors. And there's rumors that there's a new Nintendo coming out next year. I don't think personally that it's coming next year. Maybe the next year. But my gaming, I'm gonna keep trying to get an Xbox Series S. I'm not gonna just give up. Still have some time. I'm just gonna look around, and maybe be like a crazy person and just checking all the different websites. And Amazon supposedly they're gonna send me an email when it becomes available, so we'll just see how that pans out. And this is concluding the first episode of the Sergster Files for September the 23rd, Wednesday morning. And I'll be back next week with another episode of the Sergster Files, and only God knows what I'll be talking about then. The world is so crazy. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Anyway, take care, and I will talk to you later.